combining both Lawrence Park North and Lawrence Park South. This is roughly the area of Lawrence Park, located over here in Toronto. With that being said, let's begin the overview in the southern part of the neighborhood this time, not the northern part, which on the southernmost border is made up by the very major street of Eglinton Avenue West. Energetic Eglinton Avenue over here, and mostly throughout, for that matter, is mostly commercial, and is where you'll find a lot of vibrant little shops, good for walking around and venturing into retail stores, or getting a bite to eat at a local restaurant or cafe. A notable location along this stretch of Eglinton in the neighborhood is the Eglinton Grand, which was previously called the Eglinton Theater. Originating from the ambition of a teenage Italian immigrant in the early 20th century, before being designed by the established architectural firm of Kaplan and Sprachman in the 30s, the Eglinton Theater, with fine Art Deco features, was a flagship theater for the famous Players firm in Canada. In its earlier days, it was one of the city's most state-of-the-art film facilities. Over the years, the theater screened many classic films such as Finian's Rainbow, Hello Dolly, How the West Was Won, and The Sound of Music, which is my favorite movie. Nowadays, the structure is no longer a theater, though rather an event venue with a marble and wood, elegant interior. The gallery room is a neat addition to the Eglinton Grand. With theater-style seating, this area, in addition to other things, can be utilized for ceremonies. One potential taint to Eglinton Avenue is the construction around. Why the construction? Because they are building an LRT line, which stands for Light Rail Transit Line, underneath the road, and it's been taking forever. Construction for this project began in 2011 and has been ongoing since. The end is in sight, though, or so they claim. When this is eventually done, it will be a part of the Toronto subway system as its fifth route, and have great transportation benefits for the city. For now, however, it remains like this. I'll try to link some good videos about the Eglinton LRT in the description if you're interested. Eglinton continues east in the neighborhood until its intersection with the rather peculiarly named major street of Avenue Road in this corner of the neighborhood. Stretching north, Avenue, a prominent thoroughfare, is the location of residences, both new and old. These arrangements continue on north until Avenue's intersection with Lawrence Avenue West, after which the street becomes substantially more commercial, and the location of both small shops and big chain stores alike, as well as some condos. The aforementioned Lawrence Avenue over here, the neighborhood's namesake, is a major street that runs east-west along, and in the neighborhood predominantly contains along it mostly homes, which are generally of a fairly desirable caliber. This is perhaps especially true east of its major intersection with Yonge Street. However, many of those homes nonetheless pale in comparison to the ones in the neighborhoods just to the north, or to the south, around here, where lovely, grand homes sit along tranquil, heavily tree-covered streets and crescents. This quintessentially Lawrence Park area, originally inspired by the English suburbs of Letchworth and Hempstead, was initially subdivided as a garden suburb in the early 1900s to model the idealized purity of life in the countryside, though it wasn't until the 1950s that the neighborhood was completed. In its early times, the area was landscaped by Laurie and Howard Dunnington Grubb, who would later go on to found Sheridan Nurseries. With generous lot sizes and front yards large enough to make a dazzling garden on in front of posh, decadent homes built in styles such as Tudor Revival and English cottage, this district, steeped in wealth, certainly fulfills many of the appeals of idyllic country living. Yet it is within walking distance from vibrant, eclectic shopping along Yonge Street, Toronto's main and most prominent street. Lawrence Park's not that far off from Eglinton Avenue to the south as well, which we discussed in the beginning. It's also right near a subway station along Lawrence, though if you live here, you probably just have a private driver driving you around. Nah, JK, but you could, maybe, since with average salaries high in the six figures and net worths in the range of 10 million, this is right up there with being the wealthiest area in prosperous Toronto. In 2011, Lawrence Park went beyond that and was named as the wealthiest neighborhood in all of Canada. Everyone. Or at least parts of Lawrence Park were. The area stretches roughly to around Blythewood Avenue over here, which runs right by the lovely, tranquil, and tree-filled Blythewood Ravine that is a gorgeous place to take a walk and or observe the nature around. Venturing west in the ravine, you'll eventually reach Lawrence Park and Ravine, which is nestled in between the ravine lands and contains tennis and a playground in the midst of the ever-present greenery. This park lies on the fringes of the very notable Alexander Muir Memorial Gardens. Designed in the 1930s and named after the late and great composer Alexander Muir, who wrote the Maple Leaf Forever song, these manicured gardens were originally located 3 kilometers south, closer to where he was buried. But then there was a construction project for the Yonge Street subway, so the site relocated to where it is today. Dotted with picturesque, symmetrical flowers amidst lovely, mature trees, and a grand stone gateway surrounded by the pleasant, comparatively elevated ravine to either side. The serene tranquility of this elegant, lush garden shines through, letting off the impression of being refined and gorgeously tucked away. Though convenient, busy, very prominent Yonge Street sits no more than a stone's throw distance away, only separated from the gardens by perimeter trees. Fittingly, there is also maple leaves that pop up throughout in both natural and decorative forms. Making up the core of the neighborhood, prominent Yonge Street is stacked with an array of retail stores, cafes, and restaurants with outdoor patios, in addition to the prevalent array of condos, apartments, and taller buildings, all allowed space to breathe by the parks and vegetation that dot the road at numerous points. These parks include Duplex Parkette, Lawrence Park South, and of course there's also Alexander Muir Memorial Gardens. One restaurant that I'd like to single out is Lime Asian Kitchen, which I've been to on multiple occasions and has quite good food. The apparent wealth in the neighborhood is very prevalent throughout all of the dark blue, beyond where we just discussed. These other posh areas range from elegant, beautifully large, stylish homes along mature tree-lined streets and boulevards to the west, in the Lytton Park area, to gorgeously manicured clusters of tucked-away mini-mansions along Riverview Drive to the east, over here. Riverview Drive is nestled in the midst of dense tree cover in between the Rosedale Golf Club to the north, as well as the relatively vast urban wilderness of the lush Toronto French School Ravine primarily to the east. This area is right near the Toronto French School, which sits just off the ravine over here, at the location where the aforementioned Lawrence Avenue, as well as the very major street of Bayview Avenue, which makes up the eastern border of the neighborhood, both meet. Except the streets don't meet, since Lawrence just runs right over Bayview. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. First founded in the 1960s, Toronto French School, or TFS, is a pioneer immersion bilingual school in Canada, and has grown much since its humble origins in the basement of the Gileses, who founded the school. As of 2011, it has changed its name to TFS, Canada's International School. Spanning across a campus with an astroturf field facing the ravine, and a few quite beautiful buildings contained in red brick, this private, prestigious bilingual school, with a mix of both French and more generic Ontario curriculum, has an enrollment of 1,500, and comes at a quite sizable price. Another prestigious private school in the neighborhood is the notable all-girls school of Havergal College, right over here, along Avenue Road near Lawrence, which is the next place that we'll focus on. Founded way back in 1894 with Anglican affiliation, and originally located on Jarvis Street, downtown, this widely acclaimed, renowned girls-only private school is right up there with being the most academically prosperous in the city and beyond. Located in a gorgeous, vine-covered old building in the midst of tranquil ravine lands and lovely manicured yards, Havergal is home to excellent facilities for the wide variety of students, ranging from junior kindergarten all the way up to grade 12. That being said, as you might have expected, there's a steep monetary price you pay to go to this school. In 2020, Havergal disclosed its anticipated new developments, such as, for the junior school, modern art spaces, a dining wing that's doubled in height, and music and STEM programming. For the upper school, some new spaces include outdoor gardens, an art studio, and a lush bio-wall in a learning commons. Some other schools in the neighborhood are Lawrence Park Collegiate Institute, John Ross Robertson Junior Public School, Blythewood Junior Public School, Sunnyview Junior and Senior Public School, Allenby Junior Public School, John Wainless Junior Public School, and Glenview Senior Public School, which is located beside Chatsworth Ravine, one of the numerous lush areas in the neighborhood. Rounding off the video now, a few more parks in the neighborhood are Cheltenham Park, Stratford Park, and Wanless Park, which is a nice park that features a wading pool, play structures, a baseball diamond, and Wainless Park Tennis Club. So, in conclusion, with an array of schools, parks, ravines, and wealth in and around crescents, avenues, and boulevards, all in the vicinity of Yonge Street, Lawrence Park is safe, lush, and just generally one of the best neighborhoods to be in the whole city. That is, of course, if you can afford it.